Hello, beauty. My name is Claire Hill. I am a self-belief and business coach, and you are listening to No Rest for the Vivid podcast. How are you diddly doing? I hope you're well. I am, as this episode goes out, recovering from when is this episode? I'm such a prepared Paula. It should be the 28th of October today if you're listening to this. And I've come back from my holiday of a lifetime and recovering from jet lag. And I can safely say I've had the best time ever, but I haven't got it in real time. I really recommend, if you want to have a podcast to batch record, there are some moments where I do jump on a podcast and think, oh my goodness, I just really want to record this right now. And I do that with content as well. But I also allow, and if you haven't already, go and download my freebie Kickstart formula that allows you to have inspiration just drop into your lap and doesn't get you distracted from powering the boat. It's free. It's down there. Don't forget you can get 33% off the Productivity Academy with the code Claire33. Said that a few times today. It's the best course I've ever done in my life, though. I have got a couple of other coming soon, but nothing to do with productivity. I'm very excited. Anyway, there are some moments where inspiration just grabs me and I sit, but I do actually produce better podcasts when I'm in the flow. So I've got that hat on and I'm just like, yeah, I'm speaking to my podcast people. Here I am. And I just really love seeing where you come from. So tell me in the comments, where are you listening? If you're listening in the UK, tell me where. If you're listening in another part of the world, USA, Australia, I see you, Australia. I'm coming for you soon, I tell you. New Zealand, like wherever you are, tell me, drop it in the comments. I really, really want to know where you're coming from. There's one thing that's really important to me with this podcast is creating community. And I've got this really cool idea of going on tour with the podcast next year. So listen out for that. Before I talk about this week's question about business, I really want to give a shout out to my assistant, Hannah, who is decided to specialize in podcasts and memberships. She is brilliant. I cannot recommend Hannah enough. She has really supported me through the growth of this podcast over the last year. And I'm really proud of her for saying, this is what I freaking love. I'm going all in. So if you would like a podcast like mine, the same kind of visibility, the same kind of connections, the guests, the momentum behind it, and using it as part of your marketing strategy, you want to find out where Hannah is. Hannah is, I've got to find her Instagram now because I think it's HLS services, HLS_VA services. Hannah, you're editing this. Can you put your links in the show notes? But yeah, Hannah has got some beautiful packages around starting podcasts and supporting you with the monthly work that goes on behind a podcast. And if you haven't got a clue how to get started, Hannah is your right-hand woman. She's just amazing. So the first, for this quick week's question, it comes from Grace Oliver Art. She says, I've written my first blog post. Whoop! I plan on writing a post about each original painting. Grace Oliver is an artist, but my question is, how do I get people to read it? Do people still read blog posts? I want people to read them to find out more about my artwork. I can share it on my socials, but I feel like people won't click the link to read it. Shall I cut bits out and use it within my content? Or will the right people that are wanting to buy and go and read it to find out more about Or will the right people that are wanting to buy it will go read it to find out more about a piece? Okay. Lots to unpick here, Grace, and I'm really excited that you've written your first blog post. This is nurture content. This is the kind of content that people want to see and spend their time on so they can fall in love with you. 100% people buy from people. And that like, no, trust factor is all about migrating people through your different marketing strategies, marketing content in order to get them to fall in love with you. Because then that piece of art means so much more to them, or the service that you're providing. So well done massive well done for creating that blog post. So she's going to do one for every painting. How does she get people to read it? A really fantastic way to drive traffic to a blog post is through Pinterest and also optimized SEO. SEO is the king of traffic. Maybe I should say queen, actually. The SEO is the queen of traffic. SEO works behind the scenes 24 hours a day for you, as long as people are searching on Google, on TikTok, on Instagram, on anything. Like, so many platforms use SEO. So finding out what your SEO keywords are essential to the growth of your business. You can then use those keywords. So what are your ideal dream clients and customers searching for in order to find you? Those captions you write for Instagram, the TikTok Instagram, the words you write on the front of your Instagram post, they all count for SEO. A really good way to use your SEO keywords is on Pinterest. Pinterest, again, works in your favor. A post can last up to 4 months and continue, well, actually more than 4 months, and continue to drive traffic to your website through people searching on Pinterest. Remember, Pinterest is not like Instagram, it is more like Google. So people are out there looking for inspiration. Now for Grace, potentially, I know she focuses on Cornish coastal art. So they're going to be looking for gifts from Cornwall, for example, coastal art from Cornwall, capturing Cornwall's beauty. Those kinds of phrases are going to work really well for SEO for Grace's business. So she can weave through her blog posts everything to do with those keywords. And so that will, and it might take a little while, but it's going to gradually increase the traffic to her website. Now, what's really, really important is creating your own traffic to that blog post. Grace has a brilliant quite a large Instagram following. So sharing that in her in her bio, to her stories, tap to read, is a really good way to use that funnel of traffic coming from Instagram to go to her page. And what's really important is that at the bottom of every blog post, there is an opportunity for somebody to join your mailing list, because that is the goal. It might be that people find your thing on your blog, the traffic's come to your website, fantastic, but you're going to lose them. If they're not ready to buy just yet, if they like you, they know you, but they don't trust you fully yet, and they're not going to give you their money yet, you need to be there ready and waiting for when they are. And that means creating a mailing list. And if you do not have a mailing list, please go and create one right now. I definitely recommend Kit, which is the new name for ConvertKit. I love it. Please, please, please go and set up a mailing list right now. Now for Grace, as she's product based, she may have an early access bonus for her mailing list, which means that when she releases a collection, you get 15 minutes early access to the paintings that she has created. You can also think about a 10% offer. I don't really like 10% discounts on product basis stuff, because people just then wait, and you get people join the list and then they leave the list once they've used their discount. But when you are offering early access to potentially secret collections, sample sales, launches, you have got very, very, very warm people in that mailing list. They are your ultimate VIPs, which means that your conversion rate for sales within those emails is going to be higher. So at the end of every blog post, have that call to action to join your mailing list. And then it becomes like a little loop, because then once you start writing your newsletters and sending out weekly emails to your mailing list, you can talk about the blog post that you've written in that email, read more here, click, and then it goes around like this loop. So you can talk about your blog in your email, and you can talk about your newsletter on your blog, and you can use your social media to talk about both as well. And it just allows there to be more of like a spiral effect of people coming in and staying in, so you're retaining those subscribers. Now, the other thing that Grace said was about repurposing some of the content that she's written about in the blog. I would 100% do this. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. One, you can split it into chunks, use captions, like create captions for the whole week using those words, describing the different paintings, also using them in product descriptions as well on Etsy and your website. But also, you can just literally copy and paste. The other thing that you can do is put it into ChatGTP, otherwise known as, is that the right phrase? I think so. Otherwise known as my best friend. ChatGTP is my best friend. I love it because it allows you to reword something. So something that you have created, ask ChatGTP to give another version of the exact same thing, and then you can use that. So you're thinking once about writing something, and then ChatGTP is repurposing that for you in a different way. It can also create content ideas for you from what you've written in the blog. Genius. That person who ever invented that is rolling in it. So there are lots of different options. It's just like creating a big piece of content like this podcast. This podcast gets repurposed. Not only do we chop it, we put it onto YouTube, and if you're watching on YouTube, hi. If you're listening, it goes on Spotify, it goes on I've forgotten the other one, Pod something. So I looked and I was like, people are listening on Pod something. I'm going to have to look now, aren't I? This is great content. Great content. Bear with me, my love. Podbean, that's it. So people listen on Podbean. But so this then gets chopped up and I repurpose the videos on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok. I'm only doing it once right now. Genius. A blog is basically just a form of that. You could even, if you were doing videos, I do actually. I create a website page for every single podcast episode, which forms as like a blog because people find it using the show notes and it drives more traffic to my website. And from this, the transcript, which is being created in Riverside right now, a great piece of kit for if you've got a podcast, that is, I could then turn into a blog post, like a written one, or an article on LinkedIn. We only have to do things once, my love. Remember, I am the queen of productivity, or rather the Taylor Swift for productivity. And don't forget, you can get 33% off by using the code Claire33, even though I just said that at the beginning, just reminding you. All right, I hope that helped, Grace. If you have a question you'd like me to answer on the podcast, all you have to do is drop your question in the comments on Spotify or YouTube. Remember to leave your Instagram handle, or you can email what is the address? Or you can email beliefteam@clarehill.uk. Just add question in the subject line. All right, love. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll speak to you soon.